Hi, everyone. Welcome to one of our Facebook Lives. I'm doing a school spotlight with Idea Public Schools. We actually have a campus out of Austin who's here with us today, Idea Health Professions. So excited to be here. My name is Jessica Post. I'm our Managing Director of Programs at Families Empowered. And I'll let our guests introduce themselves. Ms. Crothers, do you want to go first?
Hi, my name is Darnisha Carruthers, and I am the new principal at Idea Health Professions Academy in Austin, Texas.
And then Giovanni?
Hi, and my name is Giovanni Ramirez, and I am the Student Enrollment Coordinator for Idea Health Professions.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for being here today. This Facebook Live is really just an opportunity for us to chat with you, learn a little bit about your school. I know it's really hard to do school tours right now, and a lot of families are still dealing with a lot at home. And so this is an opportunity for families to ask questions here on the Facebook Live, watch the video, learn a little bit more about Idea Health Professions. For anyone who is watching today, please make sure to comment, put a question into the comments feed here so that you can be entered in to win a gift card courtesy of Amy's Ice Cream. I know it's going to be a real hot summer, so everyone would love that ice cream. But if you just say hello, put a question in, you'll be entered into win, and we'll contact you after the Facebook Live. Awesome. Well, let's get started. I really would love for you guys to share a little bit about just Idea Public Schools in general as a network. I know there are lots of campuses in Austin, San Antonio, down in the Valley, even outside of Texas as well, now in Houston too. But then just share a little bit about how Idea Health Professions is different than other schools within Idea. Either one of you guys want to take that?
Giovanni, if you want to take the broad question, and then I'll hone in on Idea HP. Okay.
Oh, Giovanni, I think you're muted.
Is that better?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, sorry about that. So Idea Public Schools is a network, is a tuition-free public charter school. We started in the Valley and we've expanded to the rest of Texas. We're really proud to be in Austin. And as a network, we are committed to ensuring that 100% of our students make it to and through college. So we really want to close that achievement gap. And for the past 14 years, we're really proud that every single one of our college seniors has been accepted to colleges and universities of their choice. So that's our commitment. We are making sure that we're preparing our students for college and ensuring that they have all the tools to be successful.
That's awesome. Thank you.
And as for Idea Health Professions, it is a new campus. Last year was the launch year in East Austin. And the idea behind Idea Health Professions was to diversify those professions that were lacking with underrepresented students, females, minorities, groups, to help empower them to pursue those professions, dentistry, pre-med, biology, those types of sciences, so that we can diversify not only the education pipeline, but then the career pipeline for those health professions.
That's awesome. That is such a great addition to a school option in Austin for Austin families. So let's talk a little bit about just like basics of the school right now. So what grades do you offer for this fall? What grades will the school continue to go to and grow to? And just like, where are you located?
Currently, the campus is located in East Austin off of 183, I believe, Martin Luther King. The last year was the launch year, and the launch year grades were K1, 2, and 3, K1 and 2, and then 5 and 6. This year we will be adding grades 3 and then 6 and 7. Eventually that will increase up until we get our first full year of graduating seniors. So the idea, of course, is to add a year while we are building that curriculum, that's pre-AP curriculum, especially for the college prep areas, but we provide that support for those advanced health professions and the elementary, and I think what we call the academy would be the elementary grades. So those students are still exposed to a smaller scale of that health professions curriculum.
Gotcha. And Giovanni, if someone is interested in applying, how can they apply to specifically for your campus with health professions? What does that look like?
Sure. So they can either go to our Facebook page, and on there at the very top, we have a link where you can follow. It would be ideapublicschools.org/apply. And then, or they can also give me a call at my cell phone number, which is 210-776-2031. And I'll be available to them whenever.
Awesome. Perfect. We'll definitely put that in the comments here shortly. And so if you are listening and you're interested in applying, you can apply online, or you can give Giovanni a call herself. And Giovanni, do you speak English and Spanish for families that need to call and chat with you?
Yes, ma'am. I'm available in English and Spanish. And if they prefer to text over call, I'm also available to do that as well.
That's awesome. Thanks so much for offering that. So great. We obviously, so many families are just dealing with a lot right now with COVID-19, and schools have closed down. So one of the things that's been like top of mind is just distance learning and what that looks like, not just for this last year, but potentially what it could look like next year if that's something that we have to do if there's a resurgence. So would love if you guys can just chat about like how distance learning worked at your school this last year since you had students, and if you have any plans yet for what it might look like next year in the fall for families.
I will tell you, I just recently started it. I did in April, so right about the time that they really got the distance learning started. I would have been so impressed with the national and then the regional efforts for distance learning. All students were given access to a laptop and then what they call a MiFi, so that they were able to have access to their teachers, academic counselors, principals, as well as the parents. All of our teachers have a plan and had a plan where they were to make contact with students, virtual class hours for assignments through Class Dojo, of course, using Blue Jeans and other software mediums, so that they could still have that one-on-one contact, the relational capacity, and making sure that our students had not only what they needed academic-wise, but social-emotional-wise as well. So we made sure that there were very few students that we did not have contact with, that did not have exposure or access to the distance learning curriculum and resources. So that is something that IDEA did a great job making sure that families were connected, not only to the curriculum, but still to the teachers. As far as the plan for next year, of course, we are waiting to find out what that's going to look like, from TEA, from the CDC, but we will have a plan that ensures that our students and our staff and our community is safe. We don't know what that looks like as far as alternate days, late start, alternating grades, but as soon as we do, we will relay that information to our families and make sure that they have plenty of time to adjust and make the proper preparations, because we realize a lot of families have to work and make arrangements in case the school setting and it will look different. We just don't know how it would look. And I think that's going to be the case for every school in America.
Yes, for sure. I appreciate that answer. And I think that it's definitely just helpful to, keep parents in the loop. I think that that's one of the things we've heard at Families Empowered. We talk to hundreds of families every day, and they just want to know, what's the school thinking? What are their plans? And so that's something that's really important. So thank you for chatting about that. Giovanni, can you give I know we talked before about how you guys have some really great summer resources for families that if they are going to be a current student at Idea Health Professions, or if they're going to be a future student. Can you talk a little bit about what those resources online are like, so that they can get a taste of distance learning right now?
Sure, absolutely. So right now we're offering summer enrichment courses for our students, and that is being put on right now by our after-school coordinator. And she's really awesome, Ms. Jade Broaders. She really works hard to make things fun for the kids, and she's been working really hard with her team to create awesome lessons for our students. And just like the distance learning, our students were able to keep their laptops so that they were able to log on every day and to see their teachers. And it's a little bit of what it looks like. They log on, and I know one of them is like Minecraft Codings, which is one of our after-school programs that we offer to our students. So they're actually able to do that from home and continue to work on their coding skills.
Gotcha. That's awesome. And so for all of this distance learning that you guys have been doing and stuff that you offer in the summer, this is for even like the littlest ones, right? The ones that are potentially 5 years old in kindergarten all the way up to your middle school students, correct?
Absolutely, and you would be surprised, and you probably know they are very tech savvy even at that young age.
Yeah, I have a
Yeah,
2-year-old, and she can do more things on my phone right now than I realized I could do.
absolutely.
So that's awesome. So in a perfect world, and we get to go back to regular, in-class learning in the fall, and hopefully, not distance learning. Can you explain a little bit of just what Idea Health Professions, like a typical day would look like? So really curious about how Idea Health Professions, with what you were saying, like the specific curriculum and the things that they are focused on, like how is that really like done through, kindergarten classes and through middle school? And just if you could talk a little bit about what the typical day is like, that would be great.
For the academy students, and those are the students that are K through 5, they are exposed to the required reading and math curriculum, Eureka Math and then Wit and Wisdom for the reading, and that can vary between 90 minutes to an hour and a half, depending on what the students' needs are, depending on testing. The math, they get their fine arts, PE, which is required, and then we have an AR hotspot. So IDEA will be promoting a new focus on literacy for the upcoming school year. So we know that literacy impacts every subject that our students are going to encounter. So that is a really big initiative at IDEA. And then the elementary students also have exposure to their direct instruction, which is a DI program that is really, really fabulous, really structured, and helps our students. Our goal is for those kindergartners and first graders to be able to read and meet their goals, depending on where they come into us. And then the 3 pillars, the Ignite, Empower, and Lead, those are where we embed the really health professions subjects, depending on the grade level. We have access to the Project Lead the Right curriculum, which is one of the leading STEM curriculums in the world, and we have a program director that writes curriculum for those younger ages. So while they may not be taking A&P, anatomy and physiology, at the middle or high school students, they would be exposed to learning about those careers at the younger age. So that is embedded, and then that's on an alternate schedule with their PE and recess time.
Gotcha. That is awesome to hear. I know that even at the youngest age, they're sponges and they soak up all this great stuff. So I appreciate you sharing all that information with us. So Giovanni, I'd love to go back to you and chat a little bit about just the other extracurricular activities that are offered at Idea Health Professions. So I know you talked a little about, you had like an aftercare person on staff coordinator. Can you talk a little bit about after school care and sports or any other clubs and activities that are available to students?
Yes, absolutely. I love talking about this stuff. So for our kids, right now we do not offer transportation to our families, something that we're hoping to do in the future, but right now we can't offer. So we do have a free before and after school care program available to all of our current students. And that would be like drop off would begin in the morning at 6:30. You can drop off your students and we have free breakfast for all of our students. And at this time, students can read, most of them taking a little nap before they have to go to school and actually start classes at 7:45. So we do have that free before care, and then after school care starts after 3:45 when our dismissal begins. And like I mentioned earlier, our after school coordinator, Ms. Jade, she works really hard to ensure that all of our students' interests are met. So she works daily to find different kinds of clubs and organizations to come and teach our students some things. Some of the things right now that we offer, we have like Minecraft coding, which is very popular with our kids, especially our littles. It's really awesome to see them, those first and those second graders, moving around and teaching us stuff on the computers. We also have a cooking class for the littles where they're learning about the basics of cooking class and doing all that stuff. They're learning about soccer, kinder through second. They are have an ability to do basic soccer with some coaches that are available able to do that. All kinds of stuff. Lego Club. We have game engineering club where students, toy engineering club where students can learn how to make toys and do all that stuff. So we try really hard to make sure that our students are in academy, have some enrichment as well for after school, and also for college prep. So that's when our competitive sports begin. So that's something that's a little bit different. At our school, our students can start competing at 6th grade. And at some schools, it's a little different. And we were really excited this year. We were able to offer basketball, volleyball, soccer. We were going to do track, but that just got halted because of all this COVID stuff. But it's really neat. And we're actually really proud. Our boys basketball, they were our 6th graders mostly, and they were competing against 7th and 8th graders. And they actually went on to be champions, and they went on to play in San Marcos. So we're super proud of them, all sorts of stuff. And we're also open. Since this year was our first year launching, we had a limited amount of activities. We were just trying to start off. But now that we have new students and we're growing, we definitely want to know what else our families are interested so that we can help bring those kind of clubs and orgs on board as well.
That's exciting. You guys offer a lot. And just to kind of recap what you said, so free before care and after care for families starting at 6:30. And then what's the end time of aftercare?
Sorry. So the after school care runs until 5:30 p.m. with pickup until 6. So they have until 6 essentially to come and pick up their students.
Okay. Wow. That's really helpful for a lot of families. So you said that you don't offer transportation. That was one of the questions that just came up here on the comments. So if you don't offer transportation, do you have any other, do parents have to be zoned to go to your school? Do they have to live in a certain area or radius from the school? Can you talk a little bit about just location and those things?
No, we don't offer transportation, but that is something that our CEO has mentioned that's in the works and has been in the talk at the national level. But no, students are open. We are open enrollment charter, so you are able to apply, of course, keeping in mind about the transportation right now. But that is absolutely something that we realize that because we have so many campuses, that's something that we would have to consider for us to keep expanding the way that we are. But I would say when you think about parents and the opportunities and the choices that parents have for education, that Idea Health Professions is new, beautiful building, and the one-on-one almost teacher-student ratio is so small. Our students are benefit from that one-on-one almost relationship with our teachers, and then the small class sizes. So it's really an absolutely great place if you are considering educational systems for your child. It's a great opportunity.
That's awesome. So I actually previously worked at IDEA, and one of the questions that I got from parents a lot, and I think this is really going to be helpful for you guys to answer, is you've got kindergartners all the way to 12th grade in one building. And you just referenced the really big, beautiful building that they're going to be in. So can you talk a little bit about just how that's laid out, from 5-year-olds to potentially 18-year-olds all in one building? I know that's for parents, they're just always curious, what's the setup like? What shared spaces do they have? Can you talk a little bit about that for your campus?
Yes, the academy and then what we call the CP, the college prep, they are on 2 different schedules. And then the academy is downstairs, and the 6th and 7th graders are upstairs. The shared spaces, the students are not there at the same time. We have minute-by-minute systems for transitions, for arrival, dismissal, and lunch. So there is very little to no interaction with students at grade level. So yes, we absolutely understand how that could be a concern. And especially with this being a launch year, and then the size of the campus and the grade level. So yes, that is absolutely, we make sure that we take social, emotional, and then the physical aspects of the building into mind. But it is absolutely, they are absolutely separated, the littles from the middles.
There you go.
And then just to go off of that a little bit, our campus right now is going to be serving K through 7. So that's what we call our phase 1. So once our 8th graders go on to begin in the 9th grade, we're actually going to have an entirely new section of our building that's going to be dedicated specifically to our high school students. So even at that point, you don't have to worry about your high school students being in there with the littles as well, because they will be an entirely different wing of the building.
Gotcha. That is really helpful information. And Another follow-up question to that is, are you guys offering any school tours, like by appointment or virtual tours even? What does that look like if parents really just want to see the school themselves? How can they do that?
Sure. So currently, right now, we are unable to allow tours in person, but we are working on getting a video set up to be able to do a virtual tour, and we are eager to get started on those tours. So as soon as we are able to get the go to do that, we will be offering our families tours like that. Before all of this happened and all the restrictions, we were offering tours by appointment, and I also had windows, so parents could either set up an appointment with me and we could go on a tour during the day, or they could come anytime between 4 to 6. And come and check out the campus at that time as well.
Gotcha. That's really helpful. Well, whenever you guys have the virtual video, we can put it in the comments, put a link here so families can access it later. That'd be great. Awesome. So one of the other things that we love chatting about with schools and getting their opinion on is just parent engagement. So obviously right now it's a weird time, distance learning, so I'm sure you're not seeing parents face-to-face as much anymore, but what does parent engagement and family engagement look like at Idea Health Professions? And what do you guys have planned for the upcoming year in hopes that we all get to go back and figure out each other again?
Right now, since I am just coming on board, I know the campus CP principal, Mr. Cook, and I have discussed forming a parent-teacher organization or association because the campus was new. We do have a lot of interest with that. And like you said, of course, we are having to put some of those face-to-face meetings on hold, but we do have a plan to meet with some parents who are interested in partnering with the campus and seeing how we can provide support for our students, and then of course do some family engagement activities throughout the year. So that is something that is definitely in the works. And then of course COVID put a little halt on that, but that is absolutely something that's on the forefront for both Mr. Cook and myself.
Yeah, and just to go off a little bit of that, some parent engagement, a little bit of what that's looked like. At IDEA, one of our pillars is team and family. So we think it's really important. We are in a team and family with our parents and all of our staff members. We understand that we have to work together as one to be able to provide our students the best education and the best resources that they can receive. So we really want our parents to let us know, that direct communication. All of our parents often have their teachers' cell phone numbers that they can reach them to, or we do dojo and stuff like that. Teachers are always available to their parents, and they're also our staff members are also always available. Our social workers, our ACs, everyone has each other's numbers. And then a little bit of family engagement. Like this past year, we were able to do a movie night. And this summer, we invited families out to our gym, our beautiful new gym, and they got to see it for this first time. And we played The Incredibles 2 and had popcorn with all of our kids. We do harvest festivals with all of our students, and this is open to both our current students and all of the families in the Austin area, so that they can learn and come and have a chance to come and check us out. So we definitely have a lot of different opportunities for family engagement as well, and we love to be able to get to know each other and be able to share those special moments with our families.
That's
and
awesome.
We are working on an event for the summer within the guidelines for CDC, so that our parents we can have that sense of camaraderie since we've been separated. And we'll get you more information about that, but we are in the planning phases for that. And I think our families and our students are really gonna like it and be able to, see each other, socially distant, of course.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have some fun activities at the campus.
That's awesome. I'm excited to hear that. I know I feel like everyone's really itching to kind of get back to normal in the safest way possible, so that we can just all find some community again, which is, we're all hoping for that. So we did have one question that came through, and it looks like Principal Cook is in the comments and answered it already, but we'll just shout it out. So someone asked if there is a fee for the after-school programs, and so there is not a fee. So these are all free to families, and so just to reiterate, the before and after-school programs are free. So Giovanni, if you could explain a little bit about the enrollment process. So you talked about there's an application online, but after an application is submitted, what can families expect? How do they get from application to the first day of school at IDEA?
Yeah, of course. So they would apply, and then they would just have, right now we do have open seats. So the next step would be receiving an offer. So they would receive an email or a text letting them know, hey, congratulations, your student has been selected. And then at that point, they can accept their offer, and then we can move on to registration. That is kind of how it goes. Registration is the next step, and that is just a set of papers that we need to complete in order to be able to request records from your child's previous school. That is what that looks like. It's pretty easy. It's not a lot of steps, and it's really easy to get in there and secure your seat.
So with registration, are you guys doing any of that virtual, or how is that working this year?
Yes, ma'am. So currently we're offering registration appointments over the phone. So our system is actually online. So if a parent would like to do it on their own, they could just log on online and go and complete registration themselves. But I'm also making myself available for appointments, and we can complete those over the phone. It's just 15 to 20 minutes, and it's just some questions and then some documents that need to be submitted.
Okay, great. That's really helpful for families to know. Great. So let's switch back to talking a little bit more about instructional with Idea Health Professions. A very common question that we get is related to special education. So can you talk a little bit about how students that have special education needs are served at Idea Health Professions, and how families can get a little bit more information if they have very specific questions related to that?
Currently, of course, the campus absolutely offers special education services. We do have an academic counselor advisor, Ms. Castillo. We also have the RISE program, and that program serves students with life skills disabilities, and that classroom has a co-teacher. We also have an RTI process, the response to intervention. So, of course, students that are suspected of having a disability, that they can be referred by a parent, a teacher, or even a student themselves. And we go through that process so that they are identified and tested if need be. And then that student, if they qualify, then they are moved in the special education program. So we do have students who have IEPs or individualized educational plans. And of course, those plans are followed so that we can make sure that those students are receiving free and appropriate education, and that they have the same opportunities as a general ed student. So that is something that we take very seriously, supporting those students and those families.
Gotcha. Giovanni, is there any, I don't know if you have like a special education person on staff to answer questions before people apply, like if they have a very specific question for their student, how can they get that answered?
Sure. So they can just relay that question to me, and I will let our ACs know about that. Our ACs are really awesome about being in contact with families who do have those type of questions as well, and they'll be able to take care of that information. So if they do need that, they have any questions or anything, they can just let me know, and then we will make sure that our ACs are able to contact them.
Okay, perfect.
And then also, if they have a student that's interested in attending IDEA and they've already been identified as having special education services, that's something that we would really like to know up front, so we can make sure that we start that support at the beginning as well. So that's always important.
Okay, great. That's really helpful information. So with, sorry, lost my train of thought for a second. With families that are new to IDEA, so they are new to the health professions, new to IDEA as a whole, they're coming from a lot of distance learning this last semester. Is there anything that families can do if they're interested in IDEA for next year that they can do to prepare? I know you've talked a lot about the different curriculum that you offer, and so is there anything they can do over the summer? And I know you have the virtual learning, but what else is there to prepare for kind of life at IDEA in the fall if they're going to be with you guys?
I think for me, as I guess an educator and a mom, I would say for parents, the reading is such a big aspect, reading something every day. We know how that is. I do believe that is just a foundation of students having a good start and then not regressing over the summer, and especially with the distance learning, we don't know how much exposure each student had to their curriculum, even though, those resources were provided. But I would say if they're interested, of course, in applying, and in those that have applied, to do that testing. We have assistant principals of instruction who are able to do the testing to see if there are any gaps that it may be shown up since the distance learning before the first of school. So we can do that and then identify and create programs and make sure that those students are on track, or that we can get them that additional support that's been identified ahead of time. So I would absolutely say the reading, in the age of technology and video games, but you can read on an iPad, you can read on a laptop. So absolutely making sure that those skills are just honed and practiced throughout. But yes.
Our national website, ideapublicschools.org, also has a summer learning resources guide with different websites that students can go on there and learn different stuff. I can drop the link after I look for it in the comment section.
Oh, that'd be great. I think that would be super helpful. Thank you so much for sharing that. Awesome. So I kind of want to switch gears to talking a little about college prep. I know Ms. Carruthers, you are on the academy side, but on the college prep side, you guys had talked about that 100% of your students are graduating and going to college. And so I really want to hear a little bit more, like, how do you all make that happen? And what kind of supports are there for students and families for that college application process? I think that's something that we hear a lot of, is that it takes a lot for applying to scholarships, applying to schools, and things like that. So what kind of supports are there to ensure families and students are getting to college?
Sure. So for starting the 6th grade, the way that we do this is our 6th graders start taking pre-AP classes, which is a little different of what other schools do. Sometimes some schools just select the smartest students or certain students to do it. But at our school, every single one of our students starts taking those pre-AP courses beginning the 6th grade. And the reason that we do that is that so our students start getting familiar with harder coursework and more homework and all these stricter rules that they would have to follow in college. So that starts from 6th grade, and they start practicing all the way until graduation. So that's a little bit. And then our students also have field visits. So starting in the 6th grade, our students get to go to different universities so that they start getting excited and they start learning about different colleges that they might be interested in. Like our students right now, they got the chance to go to St. Edward's and of course the University of Texas, Hook 'em Horns, and that kinds of stuff. And then on top of that, once they're in 11th and 12th grade, that's when a lot of the real college prep starts. Our students are assigned college counselors. And this is what I think is really what we go above and beyond. Because for myself, I really didn't have a lot of help applying to college from my counselors and stuff like that when I was in high school. But our counselors are on our students every step of the way, maybe even bugging them a little bit. Like, did you find these scholarships? These scholarships are available. You qualify for these scholarships. Let me look over your essays. Let me find out. We offer stipends to our students for applying to several different colleges because that gets expensive as well for our students. So we help them find stipends to apply for their fees, and so they don't have to worry about that. And then they're able to offer for they're able to apply to a variety of ways for them to ensure that our students feel supported and that they don't have any questions while applying to those universities. And it doesn't stop there with our students. They'll call them within the first month of school. How's it going? How's it going? Can we aid resources? All sorts of stuff.
Hey, Giovanni, I don't know, are we having connectivity issues? I can hear it on my end, but I don't know if that's just me.
Yeah.
Okay. So Giovanni, sorry, I'll kind of recap the things that I heard. And Ms. Carruthers, if you can fill in the gaps or I'm missing, is that there's definitely a lot of one-on-one support with college counselors and having actually classroom time to complete scholarships and to complete applications. And then I even heard stipends to help with college admission fees. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's awesome. Perfect. Joanna, it looks like you're back now, but sorry, it got a little choppy. So basically what I'm hearing is that there's just tons of support, one-on-one support for students and families to really help them through and hold their hand through that college admission process. So that's awesome. Great. We had, I'm going to get to these questions real quick so we don't forget them. So we have Colleen who's asked about, how will you guys assess what students actually, or when actually, hang on, sorry, I'm reading this wrong. When they'll know that they get back to school in the fall. Oh, so this is talking about what they will know. So I guess this talks about that testing that you were talking about, Ms. Crothers. So can you talk a little bit more about, it sounds like too, like just meeting them where they're at and how to help them.
Yes, and that's actually for students that are currently enrolled and even students that have been accepted. Our APIs have already started to do the what we call STAR Renaissance test for reading and math to find out their grade equivalency level, reading levels, and that's for reading and math. So that's how we'll get a baseline, and those scores tests are really, really accurate. And that way we are able to develop the plans for students and their goals coming into the new school year. So actually they are already starting to test students who've been accepted. And so the earlier the better, so that we can start developing those individualized plans so that we can meet students where they are.
And just to clarify, that test has nothing to do with like your admissions into the school. It just helps
Absolutely.
It just helps teachers
It's just
understand.
diagnostic and for planning. Absolutely not.
Okay, perfect. So, and I don't know if we said this at the very beginning, but just to reiterate, IDEA is a public charter school. So it is free. There's no tuition, and it is open to all students. So okay, I just wanted to say that out. We'll put it in the comments as well so people understand. So that means too that there's no like admissions test or anything like that. And Colleen says here that she wishes her kids' schools plan to do these kinds of assessments. I think a lot, we've done a lot of surveys at Families Empowered and have found that families are really concerned about just the learning loss that's going on, not just like typical summer learning loss, but what happened this last semester with distance learning. There's been a huge variety of what schools are doing for distance learning. So I think a lot of people appreciate that opportunity to know how ready their kids are for the next grade level. Great. So, and then Colleen also asked about football, band, extracurricular activities that high school students benefit from. So we talked about that you guys have sports and other activities, but let's talk about band. I know that there is an IDEA campus that has a band, or an orchestra. So are you guys planning to do anything similar like that?
Yes, absolutely. So as a band kid, this is something that I've been pushing for as well. But we have a lot of families that are really interested in a band or orchestra, and I know Mr. Cook is working really hard to see what he can do to get that started as soon as possible. So absolutely. And like we mentioned earlier, if there is anything that we don't currently have, we want our families to let us know so that we can try and bring those activities to our schools as well, because we want to make sure that we have a variety of different activities to ensure that all of our students' interests are met.
That's awesome. That is such an exciting thing to have all these different opportunities for families and students, but for you guys to just be really reactive to and listening to them and figuring out what it is that they are curious about and interested in. So thank you all for doing so. Wonderful. So we are kind of getting towards the end of our Facebook Live right now. And so kind of what I would like to do is see if we can just summarize some of the big points you'd love people to walk away with. So if they are, if someone's only watching a few seconds of this video, 30 seconds, let's see, sorry, let me get to this question. Colleen had a great question here. So many districts have surveyed parents to see how comfortable parents are returning to school in the fall. Are you guys doing something like that to get parent feedback about what next year looks like with COVID-19?
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
let's talk a little bit more about that. That's awesome.
Sure. So we've sent out surveys to families to gauge their where they're feeling on whether they want that. And we're also doing Facebook Live town halls on our national page. So IDEA Public Schools on Facebook. I believe they have them every Wednesday. So that was the topic on the last town hall. We were wanting to know hearing from our parents to know whether they thought that it was safe for us to go to school, or how they would like to see us, how they would like to see school when we return in the fall. So definitely, we are definitely asking for our parents' feedback, and we're using different ways to do that. So the online town halls, we're also doing surveys, and we also have that open line of communication as well if parents ever want to ask us personally about that.
Yeah, and I think that's something we're going to see, the alternate calendars. Most districts will probably have more than one because, as we start back to school, if we start in August back physically on campus, what happens if we have another outbreak? So I think all of the districts, we are charged with being prepared because safety has to be a priority. Of course, we want our students on campus so that we can have that social interaction because they miss us and we miss them, but we absolutely want to make sure that we are safe. So I think that we'll have a lot of the campuses and districts talking about those alternate calendars, and and just to be prepared, because that's the best thing, is to be prepared and not to be reactive.
Mm-hmm. Can you talk a little bit about just for the calendar? So as is right now, if you guys go back to school as regular, the regular calendar, when is the first day of school? And then what does your calendar look like? Does it mimic like Austin ISD's calendar? Do you have any of those like similar overlapping vacation days like the regular ISD or Manor ISD even?
Sure. Sorry, working on muting myself. So we are right now set to start on August 11th. So that is the day that is our first day of school as of right now. And a little bit about like we do have like the same holidays. Of course, we honor all holidays. But our students at IDEA, they do go to school a little bit longer than the students at AISD. So our school year actually starts before the AISD school year, and it ends after the AISD school year ends as well. So our kids are going to school just a little bit longer than they are.
Okay, that's helpful information for families. Thank you for that. Great. So let's go back to our kind of summary statements. If someone only had like, a minute, 30 seconds, 45 seconds to listen into this, what is it that you would want them to walk away with? We can do it for both. So we can do Ms. Crothers and we can also do Giovanni. So do you want to go first and just sharing kind of like what's the overall takeaways?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, I think our overall takeaways are, we are committed to your student and ensuring that they make it all the way to and through college. So it's not just about getting your student to college. We want to make sure that your student has the skills to be able to be successful in college, because they know a lot of students, they get to college and they're like, oh no, like myself, I kind of had a little bit of that. And, it's nice to know that our students are prepared and that they have those skills ahead of time. And especially at health professions, what makes us unique is our diverse by design. So we work hard to make sure that both our staff and our student population is diverse. And then, of course, the health professions aspect of it. Our students are getting something really neat out of that. Like a little bit of what that looks like. Like in kindergarten, their focus is emergency services. So our kindergartners, they got to go to the fire department and talk to firefighters about what they do, and they got to see all of that. In the first grade, it's dentistry. So our students worked on little dental teeth, and they got to have their little lab coats and go through the graduation and becoming a little mini dentist. So all sorts of neat stuff that we're allowing our students just to learn about different professions, because I know I didn't know a lot of things of what I wanted to be when I grew up. So it would be cool for me. It's really cool to see having that and being able to learn about different professions that they might be interested in. And right now, while we don't offer transportation, that free before and after school care is a really big push. It's super awesome. We have a lot of different different clubs and organizations that are set up during that time.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Giovanni. Ms. Crothers, what about you?
I think for me, what I would like for people to know about health professions, what drew me is, again, the focus on the diversity by design and the three pillars, the empower, lead, and ignite. I think that IDEA does a great job of providing those tools to students so that they are educating the entire child. For me as a principal, I am really excited about joining IDEA and then just fulfilling the work that we do and telling people the why. The health professions aspect is huge. I think providing those opportunities to me as the principal is something that's my life work. And I absolutely do not believe in an achievement gap. I believe in the opportunity gap. And I think at IDEA, that's what we're looking to close. So that's what I would tell a family. Come to IDEA Health Professions, that it will change your students' lives. And that's what we're here to do.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for your time. I am just going to recap a few quick things here is that IDEA Health Professions, they opened last year. They are going to be starting school this fall, hopefully on August 11th. They have grades kinder, first, second, third, fifth, sixth, and seventh for this upcoming school year. And if you're interested in applying, you go to ideapublicschools.org/apply. And they are located in East Austin at 183 in MLK. So we are just so happy that you guys could join us today, and we thank you so much. If you've got additional questions, feel free to put them in the comments, and our idea friends will go through and try to answer as they come through. But just, oh, quick question. One last question come through. Do you guys ever have actual health professionals to come talk to students at the school? So like guest speakers or anything like that?
Well, this will be my first year, but I'm sure that's something we could work out. That would be great.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, and that also goes back to what you've said multiple times through this, is that you've got what you just value parent feedback and really want to have parent
Absolutely.
opinion and student opinion and feedback.
Absolutely.
So awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. We will be back for another Facebook Live later on next week. And thank you all so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you.